what point did 22 Jump Street?
Oh, that was 2014.
That was 2014.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was kind of in the middle of.
Lucas First movie.
Aha.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was the first time I saw you guys.
Yeah. And that came out of nowhere. Like we had no. I didn't have any ambition to be in movies, to do it at all. We were just so focused on the animated show, and yeah, we got an audition for 22, and it was
we didn't expect to get it. We just like, yeah, we'll do it. Fuck it. And we went and did it, and then they liked us, and then we booked it. And I was like, okay, this is a sequel, so the movie's gonna suck. So that's great. We have nothing to worry about. It was like, it's never gonna.
People will barely see it. People will move on with their lives, and it'll be good for money. But it became bigger than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have some pretty major actors in it. I mean, apart from Ice Cube, what was the main guys in it?
Jonah Hill, Channing Tatum.
Right.
I hadn't seen the first one, so I wasn't like, I knew Phil and Chris, I knew that they were great, but I wasn't like, oh, I definitely want to do this movie. I didn't know much about it, to be honest. I rewatched it and I said, oh, it's pretty dope. And then we booked it, and it was a bigger movie than I anticipated it being.
Yeah, it really threw off my timeline. Like, the goal for me was to, get my special out. Because I don't want to be seen as an actor. I'm like, I'm not. I'm a comedian.
Okay.
I have a little self-respect. So it was important for me to get that out first. But the movie just came out of nowhere. Yeah. It was insane.
Okay, and spoiler alert, you guys were the villains.
We were the villains. We were drug dealers. We were basically our father, but in a cooler way.
Yeah.
I certainly never anticipated being villains in a movie, or a drug dealer for that matter.
No. It's cool.
It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
So you guys do the film, you're doing the show gets canceled, you guys go back to stand-up.
Yeah. We're also doing Friends of the People. That's what Rel and
Jermaine
Fowler, Kevin Burnett.
So it was a lowly watched sketch comedy show on True TV.
That will be remembered as iconic.
Maybe not iconic.
Maybe not iconic, but it'll be remembered fondly, I think.
Yeah, because it was a lot of talent on that show. It was, again, Rel, Jermaine Fowler, Kevin Barnett, Josh Barnett, and Jim Bartels.
Yeah.
We did that, and it got canceled. No one really watched it, but
it was the most fun I've ever had shooting, because it was guerrilla style. We had no budget, but we had so many inventive ideas. So it got increasingly complex
and
absurd, and it was just pure.
Yeah,
it was the most fun I've ever had on set.
You have so many different comedians trying to sort of put their style into it. So when you see it, it's kind of jarring, because there's so many different kinds of comedic styles. But when you take a step back, you're like, holy shit, I can't believe all this sort of mix the way it mixed. And you see different styles of comedy sort of coming together in I think an inventive way. But
yeah,
I could be biased.
Well, so we fast forward to 2017, and you guys get your Netflix special on drugs.
Yeah.
Now, you guys have said that you've tried every kind of drug except for, was it meth?
Heroin.
Except for heroin and meth.
Yeah.
Crack?
I had a crack experience.
You had a crack experience.
I didn't know it was crack. I didn't know what it was. I was too drunk. I couldn't tell. And people were just handing out pipes, and I was just like, whatever. And then I grabbed the wrong thing.
Grabbed the crack pipe.
I grabbed the crack pipe by accident.
Okay, so you smoke crack.
I've done it.
How's crack? I mean, I've never tried it myself.
I was so shocked at the fact that I'd done it. I was like, I don't think I was processing the feeling so much. I was like, I can't believe this is happening.
Oh, so as you're smoking, you realize it's crack.
I realized this. I was like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, I'm gonna do this crack. I was like, what? No, okay, I can't do that anymore. The Reagan campaign worked up until that point.
Just say no.
Just say no. I've been told not to do crack. And I was like, y'all ain't going. No, I'm not gonna let this happen to me.
Were you there as well?
I was not there.
No.
Okay.
This was a Brooklyn night, and this is and Brooklyn nights can be wild.
Yeah. I've never done crack. Done coke, obviously, but no crack.
Yeah.
Accidentally did crack.
Oh yeah, man. It's the
Well, you said
scariest thing ever.
all drugs aren't created equal.
They're not.
Yeah, they're not.
They're not.
No.
Okay, so tell me about the different drugs.
Well, I mean, you start with marijuana.
Yeah.
I think it's the greatest drug of all time. I don't
Yeah,
even
yeah.
like calling it a drug.
Yeah.
I don't like that it gets classified.
It's a
in similar-
byproduct of our divine nature. It's given to us
from the universe.
from the universe
to
It's-
cope with existence.
Yeah, or
And-
not even just to cope with existence, to also expand your mind
But yeah,
and connect
to connect.
with the larger portions of the universe. It's not a drug.
Mhm.
You can't have a marijuana epidemic. Anything that can have an epidemic is an official drug. In my
I think
when
you need a more stringent
yeah.
definition for the term drug. So let's just say marijuana would be above the rest of the drugs. So crack, cocaine, acid,
Yeah.
shrooms,
Yeah.
even shrooms.
Shrooms might be okay.
Shrooms aren't that bad.
Shrooms are pretty heavy. I've done shrooms.
Yeah.
You can't do it every day.
I was
but-
thinking about the apocalypse when I started this shit. I was like, I can never do this anymore.
I remember being in my apartment with a few friends and having an obscenely strong batch of shrooms and completely unhinging from reality.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's what happened.
Like
Yeah.
suddenly all my belongings, I didn't quite understand what my connection was to
Yeah.
these things anymore.
But you do feel more connected to the universe
Yeah.
This is true.
after you do
This
it.
is true.
You're
Yeah, I
just
mean,
like-
if you want to go and surf in space,
Yeah.
you know, and say fuck all that,
Yeah.
I'll work it out later.
yeah,
It's not bad.
But like if your mind is already prone to really dark thoughts, doing something like shrooms or even like a powerful edible, I mean, like it can really,
Similar.
it can really bring
Yeah.
out like really, really bad thoughts. So you have to be cautious
Of course.
in how you utilize those drugs. But then there are some drugs that just feel nasty. Like
Yeah.
I hate coke. I don't like it. I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't like the vibes. I
Yeah.
don't like anything about coke.
Yeah.
Acid is another one of those things that's just like you can't do it every day. It just feels like
Yeah.
a party drug.
Yeah.
Same with Molly
Yeah.
and all the pharmaceutical drugs.
Yeah.
Xanax is probably the worst thing out. I would
Mm-hmm.
say heroin, Xanax,
Opioids.
opioids. Yeah.
Okay.
All that
Well-
bad shit.
Why did you name the special on drugs?
Well, we've done a lot of drugs, but we've also been impacted by the war on drugs.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
was probably the major impetus. I mean, we grew up during the crack epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
Our father got arrested by way of the what do they call them? The 3 strike laws, basically. So
Mm-hmm.
another byproduct of the war on drugs. And it wasn't just our dad who got arrested. We had a bunch of uncles and cousins who were all impacted by the pernicious sentencing policies.
We were on drugs while we were doing this. When we were recording the special, we were on drugs.
Which drugs?
I was doing like Adderall and like
Uh,
booze,
marijuana for
weed
sure.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I didn't do any harder drugs for the special, but I smoked a ton. So.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Which I wouldn't recommend doing for anyone who's about to film a special. So it's just like drugs have played such a huge role in not only our development as comedians, but development as people.
Yeah.
And you see now how impactful drugs, that you don't see now, you've seen it throughout the course of our natural lives, how drugs have impacted so many people. We're already going through another drug epidemic with heroin.
Yeah.
So if it just felt like an issue that people are talking about and they need to talk about, and so on drugs just felt like the right title.
I was shocked at how much like people just aren't like privy to what's happening with our drug policies, and like they just don't know. And I felt like it was sort of like a responsibility on our part to, bring some awareness to it.
Right. Well, when you look at hip hop today,
Yeah.
it kind of transitioned from the drug sellers to the drug users.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lil Peep just died.
Absolutely.
From it was fentanyl, I guess.
He died from fentanyl. Oh no, I thought it was Xanax too.
Well, Xanax
mixed with fentanyl.
Fentanyl, yeah. I mispronounced it.
That's
Sorry.
killing a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just in general, everyone talks about popping pills.
Yeah, I mean, because it all goes back to just mental health issues, right? I mean, Lil Peep was completely depressed, and he was relying on drugs to cope with his pain, and that's sort of what we do with the drugs that we utilize. We're using it to cope with pain.
Yeah.
And
And there's no stigma for, now there's an increase in stigma for pill popping, but it's been legitimized, because of policy and shit like that. Like, pharma is seen as like a legit organization, so people think it's okay to just pop pills, but it's like it's just
They're
as
just
dangerous.
as dangerous as the next drug.
I mean, look at lean.
Yeah, lean. I mean, it's killing people.
Yeah.
And killing people at an early age. And I mean, all these drugs, you put them all together. But again, I think if you talked about mental health issues that stem from, coming up in terrible places, like a lot of rappers come from harsh conditions, and so they develop mental health issues, and then they develop coping mechanisms. And more often than not, that involves drugs.
Yeah.